Hello everyone, welcome to next GenAI with Sai YouTube channel. So as you guys are aware that we have started the LangGraph lecture series. Uh, in last lecture we have done an introduction about a LangGraph. I have explained you some of the terminologies and I have also walked you through the kind of notebook. Okay, if you miss a previous lecture, I request you please watch that because you will familiarize with some of the terminologies uh, that we are going to use in this course. Okay, so still before moving in today's lecture, we will walk you through, we will do kind of revision. Okay, what we have seen last time. Definitely, it is not in depth that what we have covered in last lecture, but at least the people who watching this video first time, they will get some glimpse that what we have covered last time. Okay, so let's start. So these are the some of the libraries that we have installed. Okay, LangGraph, LangSmith, and LangChain Groq. However, LangSmith is not required, though it is integratable. But this in last lecture we use only the LangGraph. That is the primary library based on which we are developing our workflow. And the LangChain Groq, so Groq is a something open source, uh, the open source you can say LPU. They are say LPU who provide the open source model, LLM model. Okay, then this is the block of code where we have set up our Groq API key. Then this is the block of code where we, sorry, not, this is not the block of code, let me delete this. This is the block of code where we ask our LangGraph how our message is going to store. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to explain this block of code again, but let me go down detail where we build a workflow, which is something like you can, where we build a workflow, which is something that whatever messages you are asking to the chatbot analyze that input from the human and give the output. Okay, so this is something the workflow we built last time. So anyways, most of the block of code again repeat today, so that you will understand if you miss last lecture, but still I encourage to watch last lecture because we cover the terminologies. Okay, that is very much important that anyhow I'm not going to cover it again. Now, what we are going to cover today in the LangGraph 102 is a something that currently what has is happening, that whatever we are asking to the chatbot is nothing but a kind of LLM model in the backend. It understands the input to the kind of understanding, and based on his knowledge the model has, it is giving the output. It generates the output, right? But what happens if my model, which is a backend of chatbot, doesn't know the knowledge about it? Okay, how that chatbot is going to respond? So we require some kind of some other way so that my chatbot is aware about the knowledge, the specifically the knowledge which is in the current state, in the current in the ongoing state, right? For example, recently we have a champion trophy in India, right? So these model, that model we use Qwen or any other model, which is a popular model like ChatGPT or the Mistral or the Llama model or any Gemini model, any other model, right? They have been trained in specific period of time. Okay, so they only able to answer those questions those who they have trained, pre-trained on it, okay, and done some kind of reinforcement learning, they only they able to answer it, right? So, so, so this way we want my model should be able to answer the what the current affairs is going on, right? So I want to integrate the tools with the chatbot. So what will happen? Like me, uh, okay. So what will happen? So let's say I'm asking the answer to chatbot. Chatbot tries to understand whether this answer I can answer. If not, they will call the tools. That tools is something like a search API. Okay, try to get the answer from there and then do some kind of understanding and give the answer. Okay, so something like that we wanted to achieve. Okay, through this LangGraph 102. Okay, so in this current uh, LangGraph 102, our focus is to build the to add the tools capability in the chatbot. Okay, so let's start. So I'm going to do from the beginning so that you also do along with me. So please note that as I'm doing along with you, so my speed may be slow. Okay, so but I would encourage to do along with me only. Okay, try to execute each and try to type the code and execute along with me so that you will get a kind of hands-on. Okay, and if you feel no, then you can just anyhow I'm going to add the notebook file. Okay, you can download it and try to execute it. Okay, but I would encourage to do along with me and you will try to understand the each line of code. Okay, each code line by line. Okay, now let's say Google Colab. Now again I'm doing on Google Colab because our intention is to understand any of the in agentic AI. Now guys, please remember, I would suggest please familiarize with any of the agentic AI tools so that you will understand the working of any framework and then you can better at any other tools. They are only little bit here and there is different in the way of writing code and in the way of they have some other way of efficiency way. Okay, but at least understand one and then you can master of other tools as well. Okay, so let me start with the new notebook. Okay, fine. It's taking slow all time, but yeah, it's good. Okay, now let me say the LangGraph 102 dot IP. Okay, fine. So as it is, we need to connect to our GPU server or CPU server. CPU also works, but I'll recommend to use GPU so that you will not find any kind of latency or slowness while executing the code. Okay. Now we will need to require to install some of the package. So I'm installing LangGraph, LangChain Groq, and LangChain community. Okay. So let me install it. So this will again take a little bit time, minute or so. Fine. Okay, so some of the libraries are already installed. That's great. So it's took only the 12 seconds for the execution. That's great. Now we are going to use some of the code from our last only because these are some of the common code we require. Okay, so let me copy this and paste it here. So if you are watching guys first time, let me explain what we are doing. It's a simple private function in which we are asking user to give the API key and we are setting this API key in the os.environment because when we are trying to call those Groq model, they require API key. Okay, so that is the reason we have written this function to accept the input. Okay, and please set your API key. Okay, there is a Groq website. If you just Google it Groq, you just log in and set. So they are giving free access. So please utilize that. Okay, so I already set in my Google Colab secret. If you can use directly, you can use this block of code and set it. But I prefer this way. It's up to you how you wanted to do it. Okay, and then let's say this enter. So I have set the Groq API key. Similarly, we require a search tool, right? So there is a famous API is available called as Tavily. Okay, so you can use this. Okay, again you go to the Google, say Tavily search API, log into their website and set the API key. Now this using this API, we are try to search our information in the Google. Okay, so again I'll go to the this thing. I already have said this, so let me copy paste. Okay, now my Tavily search API key is also done. Now the good thing, we done with the installation of libraries, we done with the configuration of environment variable. One is our Groq API key, which through which we are calling our open LLM model, and the Tavily API key is for the Tavily API key for the search capability. Uh, Now, once done this, it is very important to define the tools. Okay, so let me add the statement here. Define the tools. Okay, and the tools that we are going to define is called as a Tavily search result. So what we are going to say, we are going to say from LangChain community. Okay, there is a, sorry, not IPY kernel, LangChain community dot tools. Okay, from these tools we wanted something called as a Tavily search tools. Okay, so LangChain already integrated with the multiple popular available tools, so that's something we are going to see. So see, the Google Colab is recommending things, right? So let's use that capability, and we are say my tool is equal to Tavily search tool. Okay, and when we say Tavily search tool, we want whenever I'm searching, I want to limit my search. Okay, otherwise if you, if by default I think it's 10. Okay, but let's you know uh, reduce it so that we will not over utilize our API. So here, so max result is 5, let me keep it as a 2. Okay, now there is a tools. Okay, we are, we wanted this tool is a part of my tools list. Okay, so I'm adding this tool into my tools list, and let's try to test it. Okay, this tool dot invoke, we call the method of, it's not tool dot, let's say invoke. Let's try to search. Okay, let's see what happened. Let's say which team had won the champion trophy 2025. Fine. Okay, cricket champion trophy. Let's do this specific cricket champion trophy 2025, and let's hit run. Let's see what happens. Okay, what result is getting. So what we are getting, cannot import name the Tavily search tool from the LangChain community. Okay, so what happened from the LangChain community dot tools dot Tavily search tool. Okay, so we should not call search. Say sometime the Google, this AI recommended tool come with their own, own generated function thing. So we should be very careful while using this AI generated codes. Okay, so it's not Tavily search, it's Tavily search result. Okay, Tavily search results. Now let's see, and this should be Tavily search results. So you can say that still it will take some time, uh, require some time for AI to take over on the coding parts. So be rest assured. Okay, now great. See, now the which team had won the cricket champion trophy 2025? We can see Wikipedia and the 2021 it has given Pakistan one as the best host of 2025. Great. Okay, so it's mentioned something 2025. ICC champion short cricket development. Okay, something is coming. Something is coming. Okay, great. Okay, announce the number, and it is first tournament in Pakistan. Great. Okay, so when India represented, okay, so something coming who had won the, okay, won the final. Okay, or let me say which team had won the champion trophy 2025. Let's see, let me see again. Okay, so here with just little bit change, it is saying India win the champion trophy 2025. Great. So it got from the information from the Facebook. So I think, I hope this is recently happened, and I don't think so any LLM model train on the recent years. So our tools is working. That is the one of the important thing, right? Let's now move ahead. Okay, so first of all, it is very important to define something called as the state. Okay, now what is state? As I mentioned earlier, state is a something, information or the his conversation between the chatbot and the human is happening. We need to store somewhere, right? And we want these informations to be flow from all your workflow. Okay, so it can be a message or it can be anything, that information they want to flow across the workflow, and this information you want to store something is called as a state. Okay, something is called as a state. So let me, we already defined this, so just to save time, I'll copy this and paste here. Okay, so okay, fine. So we are taking annotated. So what we are annotated, we want, okay, let's go step by step. Annotated, these are the some of the inform libraries that we want. Okay, and I want that I define the class state, and this is the type dict which is inherited. Okay, and I want message of type annotated. What I'm trying to annotate it, I want my message to be type of list, and in this list all my messages are appended. Okay, not to overwrite. So this is the way we are writing our state, and then we are initiating our state graph. So without initializing, your lang graph is not initiated. So we use this state graph and pass my state method. Okay, so that whenever I call this state graph, my state is getting initialized. Okay, and this way I want. Let me execute this. Great. Now my graph builder is initiated. So see, now, so to initiate your graph builder, it is very important you to define a state, and this way I am defining my state. Okay, I hope you understood this. Now once this is done, I want to initiate. Now you can change the flow however you want, but I'm just going the way we have done last time. Okay, now I want my model LLM, I want pass, you know, I want to define my chatbot function, right? And I want to utilize my LLM there. Okay, so let's go to the previous things, and here again we are using the same thing. Okay, but there is a little bit modification in the code. Okay, so let me paste it here. Now what is the modification, I will tell you. So from LangChain Groq, we are importing the Groq, and we want, again I'm going to use the same model. Okay, but here I'm adding my LLM with the tools capability. Okay, with the tools capability. Now note that not LLM has that, may not LLM has that capability, but generally now all the LLM has that capability. So please be sure that whether your LLM that you are using which has this tools capability or not. Okay, but by default generally it has. So I'm saying bind. Now what method I'm calling? I'm calling bind tools. Okay, so generally whenever you are passing any information, that model is intelligent itself to recognize or to reason that whether that inform whether I should call that tools or not. Okay, now LLM with tools, and I'm binding the LLM the tools that we have mentioned. So I am passing all tools. The tools is my list. Okay, so whatever tools you want, you can add in the tools list, and you pass all the list here. Okay, so your LLM is aware about that. Then again I'm defining the function. So what chatbot, what attribute you are passing, or what variable you are passing, you are passing attribute of state. Okay, and what is my state? That I already defined in the class. Now whenever I return, I want to return a message, but this time, earlier I want LLM to only answer the question based on the knowledge they have. But this time we want to utilize tools. So I say LLM with tools dot invoke, and I'm passing the state, okay, of message queue. So whatever the my message is having, I am passing to the chatbot. Okay. So latest message I mean to say. Okay. And then I'm adding the node. Okay, So what node? So this is my chatbot is a function, and so this chatbot is a node, like as I mentioned. So what is node? Node is a something, is an activity that I want to perform. Okay, so chatbot is what? My activity. Whatever message I'm passing to the LLM, I want the response. So I'm giving the names. Whatever you mention in the first place is the name of the node. Okay, you can pass whatever you want. Okay, so I'm passing chatbot is my node name, and what activity that nodes want to perform, you pass that function here. So I want chatbot is a node, and I want that node to perform this activity of chatbot. Understood? Get it? Simple. So let me execute this now. So I have added that node. So till now I have added this the I initiated. Let's go back. So till now we have initialized the tool, we add the API key, we initiate our state, and we have added the tools in our chatbot. Okay. Now let's move ahead to the quite one of the complex, or maybe say bit difficult part. That is something that to add my nodes. Okay. Now what happened? The chatbot is there, right? But I want some of the answer should be fetched from the tools. Okay, so I want to initialize that tool. So whenever the information come to chatbot will understand, and based on the message he will pass that information to tools. So I want to integrate that tools. Okay, so for that I'm going to say, let me say, uh, let me just copy this just to save time. Okay, I am import the JSON. Okay, and from the LangChain.core message, I am using this tool message. The tool message is the way that I am passing the output. Okay, now what information? So the tool message. So in the tool message, these are the information I want in my output format. So content. So whatever the result I am getting from the tools, I want that. Then the name of the tool that is going to execute, and the tool ID. Okay, so let's go step by step. So I am again initiating the class of basic tool node. In this basic, so what happened, this node run the tool requested in the last AI message. So whatever the AI message is getting generated in that, this information is there. Okay, so this will, and I initialize what I'm initializing. So whatever the tools I have. Okay, so if you look at this, I want to store in the tools by name. Okay, so we know that tools is a list where all our tools are there. We are iterating over the list, and we wanted to store our name into the tools by name. After that we are calling this magic function call. So what will happen here? So whenever this object of this class is getting called, this object act as a function. So this is a very one of the important concept in Python, that whenever you want your object to be performed like a function, you will add your action in the call magic method. Okay, so, and this is the way that you have to perform. So whenever I call this object, that is the basic tool node, this class basic tool node, with this information, this is getting executed. So this is my tool node, right? So I want my object to be performed as a function. So this is the way I am doing this. The tool node, now see, so the tool node is a function. So I'm adding like a chatbot. I want there is something called as a tool node that should be act as a function. So I'm doing this way and passing. I'm saying that this tool node is nothing. Name is a tools. Okay, so tools is the name of my node, and tool node is the function that I want to perform. Now let's get back to this again. So what happened whenever, if there is any message, okay, now this is something called as another, this is a the good in the Python after 3.8, that your variable can act, you can initiate the variable at, so this is the way you can initiate the variable, and also you can pass the value. Okay, so this is the happening after 3.8. So I want this messages is my new variable to get what it is getting. It gets the input dot get messages empty. So what happened, I want to check, is there any value associated with these messages, right? So because this input is a dictionary, right? This is something that we are passing here. Okay, so tools.tool. So if there is any messages, if there is any value in the messages, it will store into the message. Otherwise, it will store empty. If there is in any messages, I want to fetch my last messages, last message from the message and store into the message. If there is no message in my last in the conversation, it will raise the error that is no message found in the input. And I'm initiating the output as an empty list. And what I'm doing that in this block of code, I am invoking that specific tools, right? So here we are saying if tool call in the message tool call. So what happened? Whatever tool name is there in this tool calls of the message, okay, I want to call that tool and do the functionality. So now currently we have only one tool of search API, right? So in this, that search API tool name is getting added here that we already had here, right? So we say self.tools by name. So whatever name we have there, okay, we wanted that tools to be executed. So we are invoking and passing the argument, right? Argument means the last message. Okay, the argument, this tool call of argument, right? And then it's getting the store into the tool result. Now, once the tool result I have, I'm saying that append that into the tool message. So whatever tool result have, so initially I mentioned the JSON, right? So I want this result converted into the JSON format because this is the way that tool message works. So whatever result I'm getting, I store into the content, name of that tool and the tool call ID. And then after that, we are passing this output to these messages again. Okay. So I hope you understand how this we can add any customized tool as a node into the LangChain, right? So this is the basic way you can do it. Now I think I haven't executed. Let me execute it again. Great. Now it's executed. Now let me go to the another way. Now there is something called as a route. Now we should have some strategy how I can route any information to the tools, whether I should route to the tools or whether I should go to the end. So for that we need to write the function called as a route tool. So let me again say here. So again the route tool is a something called state. Okay, it is also accepting the state. Sorry. Okay, the state, and this is act as our conditional edge. Route tool is what is a conditional edge, as I mentioned in the earlier, right? So what is the conditional, right? To route the tool node if the last matches the tool, right? If my last matches as a tools, it has a something called tool call, then it route to the tool node. So tool node is already defined here, right? Okay, my tool node name is a tools. If my route last matches as a tools, it goes to the tools, otherwise it goes to the end. And this is something that we have mentioned. If my instance of state has a list, okay, then it is go state -1, okay, and it return to the AI message, that is the list. If my state has some last messages, I will fetch the last message, otherwise it is giving the empty, right? If it is empty, then it is saying no message found in the input state to the tool edge. And then once is done this, if my AI message has an attribute of tool calls, okay, and the length of this tool calls is greater than 0, because sometimes it happens, it may be not, okay. So just for the to handle the edge cases, we return the tools. So it will route it to the tools, right? And then routed to what is tools? Tools is nothing my tool node, okay. We return the tools and this tool node will execute, otherwise it goes to the end. Okay, so this is where the route tools functionality will work. Now once this done that, I have to create the graph, right? So what graph I have to create? So I already initiated the so I have to add the edge, okay. So here we have created the node, but we haven't added the edges, okay. We have the chatbot node, we have the this tool node, but now we wanted to add edges for the connectivity and for the flow. So for this we say uh, graph builder, okay, dot add edge, okay. And what edge we are adding? We are adding edge between my tools and the chatbot. So tools, that is my tool node, and the chatbot. Yes, the chatbot is my, is it the chatbot is the tool name? Let me just verify once more. Yeah, it's a chatbot. So we're adding this edge. Now once this I have added the edge, I want to also add the edge from my start to chatbot. So let me just copy this line. So graph builder add edge, and I want to add the edge from start to my chatbot. So it start to chatbot and then chatbot to the tools, right? Now whether it goes to the tool or end is defined by this route tools. Okay, so I no need to explicitly mention the end things. So I just say graph is equal to graph builder and then compile. Okay, now once I compile, my graph is going to be created. Now to visualize how the graph look like, there is a something called as a IPython display that we can use, and this is the code for that, the IPython display. So let's view the how my look likes. Okay, something is there missing. We should not like this. We want start, tools, and chatbot. Okay, let me just, we want my start, chatbot, and then chatbot tools, and then I want to say end. Okay, something we are missing. Uh, so it's something that, oh sorry, we forgot to add our conditional edges, right? So let's say, let me add the conditional edge here, because we mentioned the route tool but we haven't mentioned the conditional. So what we want my graph builder add conditional edges, it goes to the chatbot, so, and the route tools. Okay, so okay, so this is my, okay, so the conditional edge between the my chatbot and the route tools. Okay, and it goes to the tool set. Okay, let me just, okay, yeah, this is the way I want. So this will not return the compile graph. Okay, just a second. Okay, so as you can see, we forgot to add this conditional edges because this is very important when we say start chatbot and we want the conditional edges. So that's the reason it is coming as a dotted. So what conditional edges we are saying? The chatbot and the route tools is a conditional edges. So in this conditional edges, I want this 2 is my conditional edges. So I already mentioned my tools again go back to the, so this tool is again goes to the chatbot. That's why the tool is initiate and the chatbot is the second. So my tools is again going to chatbot. But I also want the chatbot to be go to the tools or end depending on the scenario. Okay, so that's why I say the conditional edges between what? My chatbot and the tools. Okay, and this chatbot and the tools and the end. So I want conditional edges between chatbot, tools, and the end. But how to decide? To decide use with the route tools functionality, and that's the reason we already mentioned the logic how you wanted to go to the route tools, right? So now we compile this. So let's execute the code to check whether it is working or not. Okay. So for that, let me again go to the previous LangGraph 101, and from there we can copy this. Okay. Okay. And just to test here. So let me execute. Okay. Let's ask first, what is LLM? I hope so. It's a generic question. Okay, still going to the Wikipedia and asking this question. Okay, Great. Summarize and all this go to the Wikipedia. Let's ask something old. When the chat GPT model has developed. Okay. Let's say assistant. Okay. It is go to the short term and it's hitting the URL. Okay. And it's getting this information. Okay. Great. Um, I think this model doesn't have this information. What is a simple transformer model? What is NLP based transformer model? Okay, so it is going to the again all information is hit to the API. Okay, actually we want that not every time it hits the API, but this time we can see it is utilizing the URL and getting the information. Okay, um, I think it should not be, but let me check this. Okay, let's ask what is the Qwen model name is what is Qwen 2.5. That's the same question. What is okay? Again, it's go to the Hugging Face URL and try to fetch the information from the URL. Sister of Ria in 2000. Let's see what happened. Okay, so every time it is hitting the search API, so I would suggest guys you can take this notebook, try to run this notebook and figure it out why it's hitting the API. Okay, so every time if you are able to, please uh, do the please comment in the comment section. Okay, so that everyone uh, come to know that why it's hitting. But similarly, uh, I can also I can also search, and then if there is anything I fix the code and I will upload the correct one. Meanwhile, I hope at least you understand how this you can add the tools functionality. Okay, and how we can use that is the main motto. Now you can see every time we are having this capability of tools. Okay, and it is execute the tools, right? So this way you can use this, and going forward once we go move further we will have more and more we can have the another lecture something called as a rag, advanced rag, and many other capability about the LangGraph. Okay, till that time thank you so much for watching this video till end, and all the best. Thank you.